From the School of Journalism and Mass Communication at the University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill, this is Carolina Week.
Good evening and welcome to the November 17th edition of Carolina Week. I'm Amanda Eiler.
And I'm Amanda Yarusi. Thanks for joining us. An altercation between fraternity members has left the exit escalator at the top of Lenoir out of service. Campus police say the fight involved 10 to 15 members of Kappa Alpha Psi and Phi Beta Sigma fraternities. The brawlers left a mess of shattered glass for Carolina Dining Service workers to clean up. 2 glass panels were broken at the top of the escalator after the fight broke out about 12:40 p.m. on Friday. Participants involved in the fight took off before officials arrived, and further investigation of the matter continues. There were no injuries reported, and the heads of the fraternities involved hope to resolve the matter as soon as possible.
Carolina North is still in the planning stages, but university officials and Chapel Hill Town Council members are already butting heads. The university released a draft of the plans for the satellite campus in a press conference on Thursday. Town council members found some problems with the plans, including too much parking and not enough protection of open space. The Carolina North campus is set to be built off Airport Road near Horace Williams Airport. The draft is scheduled to be released to the public on December 2nd.
Cheaper, faster, and more convenient transportation could be coming to the Triangle. The Triangle Transit Authority, or TTA, wants your input about the Regional Rail Transit Project, which could mean fewer bus rides for Triangle area residents. The project would include a 35-mile rail transit system to connect Orange, Durham, and Wake counties. The last round of the planning meetings will be held this Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday in Raleigh. TTA hopes to have the regional rail service on track by December 2007. Campus police have arrested 7 men in connection with a string of recent break-ins. Here's some of the loot the police say men got away with: laptops, DVD players, VCRs, and digital cameras from an apartment the men shared on McMaster Street. Police think many of the laptops belong to Carolina students. 20 laptops have been reported stolen this semester. Police are using old reports to match the other stolen goods to their owners. Each man is being held under a $100,000 bond at the Orange County Jail.
An update to a story we brought you last week. The Kenan Flagler Business School plans to ban all file sharing programs starting December 1st. Its decision comes after the university received a subpoena from the Recording Industry Association of America, saying a campus user had traded songs illegally. The business school will apply a filter to its computers to keep file sharing programs off them.
UNC Chapel Hill graduate students and those in professional schools could soon see a tuition increase. Leaders from 7 professional schools want to increase tuition to compensate for state budget cuts. Officials say they need the money for faculty raises and basic operating expenses. The business school could see the largest hike with an increase of $9,000 per student during the next 3 years. The 7 schools proposing the increase include the Kenan Flagler School of Business, the schools of Dentistry, Pharmacy, Social Work, Government, Journalism and Mass Communication, and Law. The Board of Trustees will review the proposal Wednesday.
Can't afford getting sick in the middle of your projects and exams? You better pay a visit to Student Health and get vaccinated, because this year the flu has hit UNC earlier than usual. The symptoms of the flu are abrupt onset of fever, sore throat, congestion, and general fatigue. According to Student Health officials, the flu shot will give you 90% protection against all of these. You can get shots at Student Health Monday through Friday between 8 a.m. and 4 p.m. You can walk in to get a shot or avoid the 15 to 20-minute wait by making an appointment. The shot will cost you $15. If you're afraid of needles, you can get a nasal spray called Flu Mist, but that will cost you $41 extra. Student health workers will also be giving vaccinations to students someplace other than the Student Health Center. You can get shots at the Student Recreation Center from 3 p.m. to 7 p.m. Tuesday.
She's had more than 300 W's at Carolina, and now women's basketball coach Sylvia Hatchell is getting more than a little recognition. Hatchell will be inducted into the Women's Basketball Hall of Fame in June 2004. Her induction is no surprise to many of her colleagues. who credit her success to her positive relationships with her players and her ability to teach the game. Hatchell has won championships in the Association of Intercollegiate Athletics for Women, the National Association for Intercollegiate Athletics.
To come to the ACC, at least that's what USA Today reported last week. However, Carolina Athletics Director Dick Bedore says, quite frankly, it doesn't matter what Notre Dame wants.
Well, that's not a decision Notre Dame gets to make by themselves by any means. We've been a part of no discussion since the inclusion of Boston College regarding Notre Dame.
Well, Luke Notstein joins us now, and I would like to say, first of all, I'm very impressed with myself and my colleague here for using W's. We in the news use the sports lingo.
And speaking of W's and L's, one of our own, Chris Cox, is out sidelined with a broken ankle after attempting to play. So
yeah, apparently we can report the sports, but I guess we have to be a little bit more careful if we're trying to play them. So.
Sounds like a
Sounds
plan.
like it.
I hope he gets better soon.
So do we.
Even though Chris is out of commission, he still sent us this week's trivia question. And that is, besides Mia Hamm, which former Carolina women's soccer player has made 20 goals and 20 assists in the same season? We'll have that answer and more when Carolina Week Sports returns.
Mrs. Russo.
Hi, Ben.
Hi.
If only child abuse were this easy to recognize. If you even suspect abuse, call us. Trust your instincts.
Okay. Have a nice day.
You too.
Thanks.
If only child abuse were this easy to recognize. If you even suspect abuse, call us. Trust your instincts.
The danger dog will bite your ankle. The danger dog will bite your ear. The danger dog will bite your bottom if you come near. That's the danger dog. Dog.
Want to feel appreciated? When you spend time with kids, anytime, it helps prevent crime.
Carolina's dominating the field. No, not the football field. Let's try the soccer field. The women's soccer team began its trek toward the NCAA title Friday against I-40 neighbor High Point. The undefeated Heels put in not one, not two, but 3 goals, all within the first 15 minutes of play. High Point had only 1 shot on goal. Carolina finished the game with 8-0 with a whopping 41 shots on goal. It was an absolute blowout, and Tar Heels in response said to the Panthers. And here we have a new day and a new game. UNC Greensboro came to Fetzer Sunday eager to play after its 2-1 win against Wake Forest on Friday. The Heels had to fight to control the ball and even to keep up. But with goals like this one by Heather O'Reilly, the Heels dominated the game. In the 51st minute of play, Lindsay Tarpley and Annie Morrell helped O'Reilly with this empty net shot, putting the Heels up 4-0. Tarpley had a big day, becoming only the 3rd UNC player to get 20 goals and 20 assists in a season. Coach Anson Dorrance thinks it's the individual strengths of his players that drive the team's greatness.
If you always look at it from the perspective of our tradition and our statistics, I think they look at it very practically from, well, who they got and what are we going to have to deal with.
Heels win 5-0. You can watch the Heels in their 3rd round match Friday at 6 o'clock at Fetzer Field as they take on Purdue. High on life after last week's blowout against Wake Forest, Darian Durant and the football team headed down to Hotlanta Saturday, planning to grab a victory, but got stung by the tail end of the Yellow Jacket offense in the second half. Like most second halves this season, the Heels defenders couldn't stop their opponents, especially Georgia Tech running back P.J. Daniels, who rushed for 240 yards. After the Yellow Jackets ran ahead in the 3rd quarter, Dan Orner and his kicking squad tried to keep the point margin as close as possible. But when Jacques Lewis fumbled in the 4th, the tide turned, and Carolina's last-ditch effort wasn't enough to stop the Yellow Jackets from running away with the win, 41-24. The men's basketball team faced its final preseason test Thursday night in the Smith Center against the Nike Elite All-Stars, the same team that stunned the Heels last year in a preseason upset. This year's game, however, turned out a little differently. Even with a key player watching from the bench, Carolina proved to be too strong for the All-Stars. Sean May, absolutely window washing. Carolina's big man led all players with 16 boards and 22 points, and the dazzling distributor Raymond Felton finished with 12 assists. Final score, Carolina 104, Nike Elite 72. Head coach Roy Williams believes the sweat put in during the preseason will pay off, but says his team is still far from where he wants it.
You know, at times it was an ugly game. I think exhibitions can be like that a lot of times. So the good news for us is we have probably about 7 practices before we open up for real. And we've got to get a heck of a lot better between now and then.
In an odd stat, Nike Elite's Jason Jennings picked up 5 fouls in less than 2 minutes of playing time. I've never seen that at the Y. No wonder it was a blowout. There's nothing better than beating Duke, especially when the Heels can earn a Carlisle Cup point for it. Senior middle hitter Aletha Green and the Tar Heels try to wake up against the Dukies Friday night. She starts Carolina off with a bam as Carolina easily takes game 1. If you like that, Aletha says, well, watch this. I had 11 kills and 6 blocks tonight. You can't stop me. The Heels make it look easy as they breeze through game 3, sweeping the Dukies 3-0. Joining in on the fun is junior middle hitter Katie Wright, who sings praises with and for Aletha Green after the game.
Hark the sound of Tar Heel voices, singing clear and true.
Before the Carolina wrestling team begins its regular season, the 2003 edition of the Tar Heels watched some future Carolina grapplers. The Tar Heels held their annual fall clinic at Carmichael Auditorium on Saturday. Coaches and wrestlers worked with local high school and club teams. First-time wrestlers learned stances and footwork. The veterans worked on takedowns and technique. Local coaches witnessed combination moves and counterholds. There were no size or gender requirements. Former Carolina wrestler Mike Kendall now coaches at Chapel Hill High School. He says it's great for him and his team to have this opportunity to learn.
We go talk to them and ask about this move or that move that really makes a difference, or about this pressure on this move. So, you know, anytime we get an opportunity to talk with these coaches individually, it's a big time. It helps us.
The Tar Heels look to continue giving lessons in their first regular season match at the Missouri Open this Sunday. Unfortunately, this season, tournament competition ended early for some Heels. After 110 minutes of scoreless soccer, the Carolina men were edged by NC State 4-3 in a penalty kick shootout Wednesday. The Carolina field hockey team also ended its season Saturday afternoon with a 2-1 loss to Michigan in a first-round NCAA tournament. The 4th-ranked Tar Heels finished the year with a record of 16-6. Better news for the women's cross-country team, which took the top 3 positions at the Southeast Regional Saturday to move on to the NCAA championships. All-star Shalane Flanagan finished first, followed by teammates Carol Henry and Aaron Donahue. Well, guys, I'm a little out of breath, so hopefully I'm not going to go play too many sports so I don't get injured like Chris did.
We need you, Luke. We definitely need you. We going to take a guess at the trivia question?
Think we can handle it?
Sure.
It's my favorite part of the show. I think I'm going to go with D, Cindy Parlow.
You were close, but actually the answer is Robin Confer. She's the only player since Mia Hamm to score 20 goals and 20 assists in the same season.
Bummer. I have definitely not scored 20 goals with answering these questions, that's for sure.
Chris, these women have been really successful, but what are they doing now that the WUSA is folded?
Well, most of the players obviously aren't playing professionally now because the league folded. So some of them are going into coaching, a lot of them are moms. So they're just trying to find something to do until they can either keep coaching or keep playing again.
Sounds good.
Great. Thanks, Luke. Well, that does it for us here.
Thanks for watching. We'll see you next week.
Good night.